Albert Einstein claimed that he who has never made a mistake has never attempted anything new. This is certainly true, but not always. Gross miscalculations lead, if not to irreparable consequences, then to millions and billions of money thrown away. Today we're going to talk about 8 of the most expensive and ridiculous mistakes mankind has made. Number 1. The Gate Tower building in Osaka. It's a stunning sight because, well, how can I put this? There's a highway running through the building. Floors 5, 6, and 7 are the Hanshin Expressway. You're probably wondering why the Hanshin Expressway runs through this building, right? Basically, it's a land rights dispute with a happy ending of sorts. The developers wanted to build a skyscraper on the site of a former parking lot, but the municipality feared it would worsen the traffic situation. The solution was found in having the road simply go through the building. And it's not just a permanent installation, it's an actual working road. The technical details are also impressive. Number 2. A railroad in the middle of a highway. Cars drive on the road, trains on the tracks. Not that hard to memorize, really, but the engineers who created this object decided that the train could very well go wherever they wanted it to go. No, it's not a train pretending to be a car, it's just a bad idea. The road runs along an avenue, not in Chilar or Neftyaniki in Baku, Azerbaijan. As you can see, there are no signs or guardrails of any kind. The rails are almost invisible, and the only signal for drivers is the desperate horn of an approaching train. What kind of lunatic thought this was a good idea? Apparently, the railroad was built years ago to transport grain from Dak to Baku. The 7-lane road was built later as the city developed. But the engineers felt that a warning system wasn't necessary. Strange as it may seem, in any case, in time, the rails were covered with asphalt, although evidence of their existence survives on Google Maps. Sorry, Baku, you can't hide this dangerous mistake from the world. Number 3. A car crash due to square windows. In 1952, the Havilland Comet was the first commercial jet airliner, but its fate ended tragically. It disintegrated in midair and 56 people died. Engineers were baffled because the cause turned out to be very simple. The tragedy was due to the square windows. If you walk past old houses, look at the windows. They will probably have more cracks in the corners than other parts. The whole point is that sharp edges create stress points, and when an airplane is flying fast and high above the ground, it concentrates a lot of stress that can destroy it in an instant. That's why airplanes now use rounded windows to distribute the stress evenly throughout the frame. Number 4. Walt Disney Concert Hall. Definitely can't be called boring. In 2003, Disney decided to add some prestige to its reputation and commissioned a new building from famed architect Frank Gehry. The concert hall is built in a deconstructivist style and is a complex structure made of stainless steel, glass, and concrete. It turned out that the curvature of the walls combined with their reflectivity created powerful thermal sunlight, which blinded drivers and heated the sidewalks to 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, similar to the action of a giant magnifying glass in the sun. Fortunately, this mistake was corrected by sandblasting the walls to reduce the glare that would have made passersby uncomfortable. The Vidar Hotel in Las Vegas faced a similar problem. Sunlight was causing burns to visitors who were relaxing by the swimming pool on the hotel grounds. Number 5. The whirlpool. In the American state of Louisiana, near New Iberia, there is Lake Pennock. It was a small body of water with a total area of 5 square kilometers, 1.2 square miles, and a depth of 3 to 4 meters, 10 to 13 feet. In the early morning of November 21st, 1980, a local man and his nephew were fishing while sitting in a boat. Suddenly they saw a whirlpool forming in the lake, which was getting wider and deeper by the minute, and the speed of water rotation was increasing. Wilson Brothers, a company hired by oil and gas corporations to search for oil, made a huge mistake. One of its drillers accidentally punched a hole in a salt mine underneath the lake. This caused the formation of a giant whirlpool that sucked in rigs, barges, and even an island with a botanical garden. As a result, the lake lost 13 billion liters of water, 3.4 billion gallons of water. The ecosystem was destroyed and it became salty due to the infusion of seawater. Number 6. Citigroup Center. The story of how an engineer saved Manhattan. If it had been built as planned and Joel Weinstein hadn't double-checked the plans, it might well have destroyed all of Manhattan. In the early 1970s, architect William Lem decided to build a skyscraper in Manhattan. He chose a plot of land that was located next to St. Peter's Lutheran Church. However, Lem was not going to look for another site, even though the church occupied part of his desired area. Instead, he decided to build a skyscraper directly above the church. Lem devised a plan in which the skyscraper rested on pilings buried in the ground beneath the church. Fortunately, engineer Joel Weinstein noticed an error in Lem's plan. Weinstein warned Lem that his plan was dangerous and suggested welding the pilings to the church's foundation. Lem agreed with Weinstein's advice and the skyscraper was built safely. If Weinstein had not advised welding them and they had decided to simply bolt the piles in place, the number of people injured in the collapse would have been about 200,000 or 156 New York City neighborhoods. To understand the difference, imagine that you cut off a finger and a surgeon attached it back to your body. It would be like welding. And if he just taped it down, it would be like bolts. Number 7. Vase is a mistake. It occurred in 1624. The King of Sweden ordered a magnificent warship, the Vasa. The new flagship of the Swedish Navy was unveiled in 1628. To the horror of thousands of spectators, it barely left Stockholm Bay and quickly sank at a depth of 32 meters 105 feet. With the first gust of wind, the warship capsized, humiliating the king, who blamed the now-deceased builder, Henrik Hibbert. Since then, more than 200,000 royal dollars have been spent on the ship. That amounted to more than 5% of Sweden's gross national product per year. That is, 20% of the country's annual income. Suddenly, it was at the bottom of Stockholm Harbor. If the same percentage of Sweden's GNP were spent on a single ship now, it would be worth over $25 billion. Vasa was restored from 1956 to 1990. The ship was then displayed in a museum, which managed to restore 98% of the ship. The cost of the restoration is unknown and was partially covered by the Navy. It now costs between $55 and $110 million to restore such a ship. Number 8. Millennium Bridge. On June 10, 2000, 90,000 inhabitants and visitors of London had the opportunity to feel themselves walking on the old cable car, although in fact they were walking on 320-meter 1,050-foot, and moreover only just opened bridge over the Thames. I wonder what architect Norman Foster and sculptor Anthony Caro were thinking at that moment, looking at the Queen who was present at the opening of the grandiose structure. The Millennium Bridge was being built just in time for the beginning of the third millennium as a symbol of the unlimited possibilities of the people of the new century. The idea turned out to be shaky in the truest sense of the word. On the opening day, it became clear that the structure resonated under the footsteps of people. Then they solved the problem by reducing the number of people walking on the bridge at the same time. But this led to huge queues at the entrance. And after a few days, the bridge was closed for reconstruction. They decided to add additional shock absorbers to the structure. Fortunately, this decision was successful. And 2 years later, the bridge was reopened. In total, its construction cost £22 million sterling, of which 5 spent on reconstruction. Since then, the name Shaky Bridge has stuck with the people, even though the problem has been fixed. However, a few times it was still closed, once during a hurricane, fearing that the ladder would blow people away. And once again, for filming a segment of the Harry Potter movie when the Death Eaters destroyed the bridge. Well, hopefully the new structure seems sturdy enough this time. And which of these stories struck you as the most ridiculous? Tell us in the comments below the video. Thanks for watching.